Being a nomad for Outlaw Motorcycle Club is something I lived and experienced. In this patch, there's love, jealousy, envy involved with this patch. Some will think you're better than them in your own club, and a nomad in your club could be a completely different structure from nomads in other clubs. So let's talk about everything they don't tell you about the nomad patch and my personal patch story. Let's get into it.
We run the night, we run the night, run.
Chapter 1. Why bikers become nomads. There's usually 1 or 3 reasons why a club member ends up going nomad, and depending on which one it is, that patch either comes with respect or with scar. Number 1, you get called to be a nomad as an honor. In some club, the nomad patch isn't something you ask for, it's something you're chosen for. National sees how you move and they know you're solid, dependable, and don't need your handheld. So they give you the green light to ride solo. You only answer to the Nomad chapter president, and that means freedom and it means power. Number 2, you had issues in your chapter, and going nomad is your way out without leaving the club. Let's be real, some chapters get messy. Too much ego, politics, favoritism, or straight up beef. Rather than walking away from the whole nation because you love your club, some brothers choose to go nomad. It's like saying, I still ride for the patch, just not these dudes. It's not always seen as a promotion, but it keeps your loyalty intact while cutting through the noise. Number 3, you live in a state or region that doesn't have enough members to form a full chapter. Sometimes it's not politics, it's geography. Maybe you're the only one out there. Maybe there's just 2 or 3 of you, and that's not enough for a full-blown charter. So you ride nomad until numbers build up. It's not a demotion, it's a foundation. So yeah, not every nomad has the same story. Some earned it, some chose it, some had no choice at all. But once you wear that patch, understand you don't have a city backing you anymore. You ride alone, and everything you do reflects on the whole nation. Number 2, some regular chapters don't like nomads. Let's keep it all the way real. Not every chapter likes nomads, and sometimes that tension doesn't get spoken out loud, but you feel it the second a nomad walks in the room. Here's why. A nomad shows up without a city, but sometimes carries more rank than an entire chapter he's standing in front of. That rubs people the wrong way. You got brothers putting in years of work in one location, climbing that chapter ladder, and then a nomad pulls up, answers to the national, skips the local chain of command, and moves like a ghost with stripes. That's intimidating, that's threatening, and people don't like it. They get jealous. Some chapters see nomads as disconnected, like they're not putting in the same work. They're not showing up to every function. They're not at every run. And in certain cases, they're not contributing the same dues or pulling weight for the local chapter struggles. That builds resentment, whether it's justified or not. Other times, it's a pure ego clash. A nomad doesn't answer to the local prez. So if the president of that city chapter is used to being the big dog and the nomad rolls in calm and quiet, but with more national backing, the energy shift causes tension. Nobody wants to be the one outranked on their own turf. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. Some nomads didn't leave their chapter on good terms. Maybe there was drama, maybe there was a vote, maybe that nomad wears his patch, but there's still bad blood. Now imagine that nomad showing up to the same clubhouse where the beef started. You already know that ain't gonna be smooth. But here's the key difference. A real nomad knows how to move. He's not there to stunt. He's not trying to flex. He moves with purpose. And if the brotherhood is solid, the respect will follow. In some clubs, the nomad patch carries power. In others, it carries heat. And if you don't know how to move with it, you might end up with no city and no support. Number 3, nomads are the enforcers of the MC world. This is something you have to understand before you throw on that nomad bottom rocker or side rocker, depending on the club. At any given moment, you could get a phone call and be expected to go across the country. So get an understanding of what your club wants from you before you become a nomad. Here's what people outside the life don't get. Sometimes when the talking stops, a nomad gets sent in. See, when there's tension inside a club, between chapters, between brothers, and it's getting too hot to handle in-house, a nomad might be brought in to settle it. Not to ask questions, but to end the problem. Because nomads aren't tied to one clubhouse or local crew, they can move different. They don't get caught up in the favoritism, side picking, and the internal politics. That's exactly why they're trusted to handle things clean or dirty if needed. Sometimes that means being a mediator, keeping the peace when egos are flaring. Other times, it means being the hammer. A quiet call from a national gets made, and the next thing you know, a nomad shows up to deliver the message no one else wants to say, or do the thing no one else wants to be seen doing. And the wild part is, most brothers don't even know why he's there. He ain't gonna announce it, he ain't gonna post it, he'll shake your hand at the bar and handle business right after. This is why that patch is so heavy. Nomads don't just ride free, they ride with responsibility. And sometimes that responsibility includes cleaning up messes for the nation without hesitation and without applause. So yeah, when a nomad pulls up, don't assume it's just for a friendly visit, because if a problem needs to be handled, he might not be coming to talk. Let me tell you a story. Being a nomad to me was one of the most fun times I had as a member of an MC. It's where I learned most of my diamond knowledge. I was in the club for at least 5 years before I went nomad, and I learned more in that first year after earning that nomad rocker than I did in the 5 years prior. Being that I banged for 14 years, I just rolled with what I knew from the streets and brought that to the culture. If I made a mistake, I just relied on my street knowledge to get me out of the situation. Using tactics like, oh, those are the rules, I guess I don't give a shit. And that was the wrong thing to do. I've always been stubborn, so this wasn't an easy transition for me. I know you're born a 1%er. If you have something in you that tells you, I know everybody is doing this particular thing, but it doesn't make sense to me and I'm not gonna do it that way. People think it's all about being a tough guy. To me, it's more about not being a mindless bot. I loved my chapter and part of me didn't want to go nomad, but my mentor was president and the nomads were having a lot of fun. And I always felt that having a state bottom rocker, it didn't fit me. I felt like there was more to me than that. I have this weird theory, and you let me know what you think about it in the comments, but I always felt like if we're all brothers and no one is different, why are we representing one state on our bottom rocker? We're in different states constantly at some event. Most national clubs are like nomads. They're from a state, but never actually in the state the whole time because diamonds move around. And I'm not suggesting you just go and start a nomad club. That's a very outlaw thing to do, and outlaw things come with outlaw repercussions. But territory is what 99% of the beefs are about. You eliminate the territory, you eliminate 99% of your problems, or even just a top rocker and middle, no bottom. I think it's just dope, but that's just me, a theory of mine. Real quick, if you enjoy MC culture content, smash the like and the subscribe button, and give me a pound wherever you're from, and get your Ghostavelli mask, shades, Demons Row snapbacks in all colors, tank tops, crew necks, track races, we got it all, and you can get it on www.demonsrow.com. Let's get back into it. Number 4, wearing a nomad patch puts a target on your back. Wearing that nomad patch isn't just about freedom, it's about pressure, because when you ride solo, you don't blend in, you stand out. You don't got a city on your back, you don't roll deep with 20 brothers, you're showing up alone or with a couple of brothers, repping the same patch as entire chapters, and that makes people nervous. Other clubs see that nomad patch and wonder, what is he doing here? Is he scouting something? Is he here to check somebody? And here's what makes it heavier. A lot of times when a club is about to start a new chapter in a fresh city or state, they don't just throw patches out. They send in the nomads first to do the sit downs, to feel the temperature, to make connections or issue warnings. So when you roll into a new area wearing that nomad patch to the outside world, that could look like a move-in, like your club is setting up shop. Now you got rival clubs watching your every move. You might just be passing through, but they think you're laying groundwork. Even within your own nation, walking into another chapter's territory as a nomad can raise eyebrows. Some brothers might wonder if you're there to observe or report. You don't say much, but your presence says everything. You walk in with respect, but also with weight, because if you mess up, there's no chapter to shield you, no president to clean it up. It's just you and the patch. So yeah, that nomad patch is power, but don't get it twisted. It's also a target. And when you wear it, you better know how to move, because one wrong look in the wrong clubhouse could make that road your last ride. Number 5, nomads know things regular members never hear. When you're a nomad, you hear things before the rest of the club ever finds out. Not because you're special, not because you're flashy, because you've been trusted to move with national level intel and stay silent about it. Nomads get the early calls. They get told when a new chapter is about to open, when a patch over is being considered, or when war might be brewing, long before that info hits a chapter meeting, and they don't go running their mouth about it either. That's what separates a real nomad from a loud patch holder, the ability to carry heavy knowledge in silence. You might be sitting at a clubhouse party, laughing, drinking, having a good time, and the nomad in the corner already knows the whole area might be flipped in 6 months. He knows who's getting patched in next. He knows there's a sit down with another nation tomorrow, and he won't say a word. He doesn't move for clout, he moves for the club. And sometimes that silence gets misread. Regular members might think he's disconnected or secretive, but what they don't understand is he's sitting on information that could change the whole game if it slipped. That's the burden of the nomad. You ride alone, you speak less, but when you speak for the whole nation. So next time you see a nomad off to the side, not saying much, don't mistake that silence for weakness, because behind that patch, he might be carrying more knowledge than your whole chapter combined. Number 6, why even club members fear nomads. Here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Nomads make even their own brothers uncomfortable. Not because they're disrespectful, not because they're wild, but because they move in silence, and they don't show up unless it matters. When a regular patched in brother walks into a clubhouse, it's just another night. When a nomad walks in, people get quiet. People pay attention because nobody knows why he's there, and the mystery breeds fear. Maybe he's on a ride, maybe he's on a mission, maybe National sent them, maybe he's checking on something. You don't know. And that not knowing is what rattles people the most. Some chapters wonder, is he here to observe? Is someone getting checked? Even if he's just there to have a beer, the room already shifted before he sat down. And when he comes, he's already had convos with the National. He might know things that haven't even hit your table yet. That creates a power imbalance, and people feel it. It's not the patch that creates fear, it's the unknown behind the patch. Nomads don't explain themselves. So yeah, your brothers might shake his hand, show love, smile, but deep down, they're watching his every move, because they know if something's coming, he already knows what it is. Number 7, the best part about being a nomad, most people forget. For all the pressure and responsibility that comes with wearing a nomad patch, there's also something a lot of people overlook: the freedom, the movement, and the fact wherever you go, there is a destination for you in that state. When you're a nomad, you might not have a home chapter, but you got clubhouses across the country that'll open the door the second you pull up. Your family, wherever your patch is respected. Whether it's a city chapter in the deep south, a desert clubhouse out on the west, or a backyard run on the east coast. You walk in, you'll usually hear, "You good, brother? You got a place for tonight?" That's something that people that are not in clubs would never understand. You could ride for days with no hotel plans, no map, just the road, and still know you have a place to crash, a cold drink, and someone watching your back when the sun goes down. And then there's the travel. Most patch holders are locked into their city. Their runs stay local, but a nomad, you're free to chase the wind. You ride the new states, new chapters, new scenes. You meet every type of brother from every walk of life, and you earn respect just by showing up solo and standing tall. Some of the best memories in this life come from that freedom. Late night bar fights in towns you can't pronounce, highways with no call service and just stars above you, clubhouses where you walk in like a stranger and leave a legend. So yeah, being a nomad ain't easy. It's pressure, it's heavy, it's lonely at times. But for the ones built for it, it's the closest thing to true freedom left on this earth. Number 8, can anyone be a nomad in a motorcycle club? Short answer, hell no. But a lot of people, especially outsiders, think being a nomad is just something you choose when you don't want to deal with the chapter life anymore. Like it's some solo rider loophole for club politics. But inside a real 1% club, you don't just pick the nomad patch. They pick you. You got to be invited, approved, and in some nations, straight up called up to carry that patch. You might go nomad as a way to serve the club, not to escape it. You can't just get tired of your chapter and say, "I'm out, I'm nomad now." Try that in the wrong club, you won't just lose your patch. You might get a whole different kind of send-off. There are exceptions, like I said earlier. Maybe you live in a region with no active chapter. Maybe a national assigns you to operate there as a nomad until it grows. But that's club business, not your personal decision. And even if you've been around, even if you put in years, it still don't mean you're cut out for nomad life. You gotta have the discipline, the trust, and the kind of respect where your name alone carries weight. So yeah, if you're thinking about becoming a nomad just to ride free and do your own thing, you are not ready. And that patch will chew you up the second you throw it on without earning it. Now you've seen it. The secrets, the politics, the freedom, the pressure, and the truth behind that Nomad patch. It's not some cool title. It's not a shortcut. It's not for the weak-hearted or the clout chasers. It's for the few who have earned enough trust to ride without a leash and without backup. Some go nomad for a reason, some go nomad for a mission, and some, they ride like ghosts for life. But understand something, that road gets lonely, that patch gets heavy, and once you're out there, there's no clubhouse to run back to. Think about that before you go nomad, and let me know what position you hold in your club or if you've ever been a nomad. And thank you for tuning in to Demons Road TV, the holy grail of MC culture. Like, subscribe, and comment. And oh yeah, we ghosting, baby.
Ooh.